Hello everyone. Today we are gonna learn about hormone action. So to begin with, let me start with an example. On a computer keyboard, I am typing rose. Then it undergoes some sort of signaling. That is, it understands it in its own language. Then on the monitor, I'll get the favorable outcome. That is, I'll get the pic of the rose then I'll get some info regarding it. This is the output. In our human body, similarly, first this rose, that is the input I am giving. Similarly, there is stimuli. And it is signaled through our hormones. Then what is the output? So what is the ultimate output we need? That is the homeostasis of the body. Homeostasis. Now, this homeostasis is basically brought through alteration in the activity and the amount of proteins. Activity and amount. Now, how is this facilitated? How are these alterations facilitated? These alterations, they are facilitated through hormone receptor interaction. They interact with each other and they produce a intracellular amplified signal. This will lead to regulation. So this regulation is on the genes and on the proteins. Like we have proteins like enzymes and then transporters. So regulation will be on these. Some other regulatory molecules or cytokines, interleukins, growth factors, then some metabolites. Then coming to the stimulus. This stimulus, it can be on the organism or on a specific organ, tissue or cell. When it comes to organism, it involves the nervous system and the special senses. But when it comes to like the specific organ, cell or tissue, it involves physicochemical factors. So what is the physicochemical factors? So they are nothing but our pH, O2, tension, temperature, osmolarity. So these are our physicochemical factors. Now this stimulus will lead to because this stimulus affects our organs. So this will lead to an adaptive response. Adaptive response is mediated through hormones. First, the stimulus is recognized. Then it will lead to production of our hormones, our heroes, about which we learned today. These hormones are of two types, group 1 and group 2. Group 1, group 2, like what are they based on? Like how are they categorized? They are categorized based on the criteria of location of their receptors, whether intracellular or extracellular, and the type of signal they generate. So these are the two main criteria on which they are categorized. So group 1 hormones, they are intracellular. That is, their receptors are located inside the cell, either on the cytoplasm or on the nucleus. Group 2 hormones are extracellular. That is, they have extracellular receptors. Their receptors are located on the extracellular surface of the plasma membrane of the target cell. Then coming on to the signal generation, that is how the signal are generated by group 1 and group 2 hormones. First coming on to group 1 hormones. So our group 1 hormones, they are lipophilic hormones. So like cell membrane, how are those? It will have lipophilic head and lipophobic tail. So lipophilic. So they can easily diffuse through the cell membrane. Then our cell membrane will have an outer cytoplasm and an inner nucleus. Group 1 hormones, they are of two types basically. One is glucocorticoids, then the other is thyroid hormones. The receptor for our glucocorticoids are located in the cytoplasm and the receptor for our thyroid hormones are located in the nucleus. So now let us see for these two things. That is, first for glucocorticoids. So first glucocorticoids, the primary thing to remember is its receptor are located on the cytoplasm. So this is the main thing to remember. Next, when this glucocorticoids binds with its receptor, so this glucocorticoid receptor is associated with the heat shock protein, but when this binds, this heat shock protein dissociates. So when this heat shock protein dissociates, it will have a high affinity for glucocorticoid response element. It traverses, so this is in the cytoplasm. So from the cytoplasm it traverses to the nucleus and it binds with the glucocorticoid receptor element, and this will lead to the binding of more transcriptional co-regulators and it will lead to enhanced transcription. Now the next one, what's it? Yes, it is our thyroid hormones. So thyroid hormones, if you see, the main point to remember is its receptors are located in the nucleus. In the nucleus, when this thyroid hormone binds with the thyroid receptor, here the thyroid receptor is already bound to the thyroid response element, but it is also bound to a co-repressor. So when this binds, this co-repressor gets dissociated and this it leads to high affinity for an activator complex. So this activator complex activates it and we will have enhanced transcription. So there is enhanced transcription. So finally we will have our end result, that is homeostasis. Homeostasis, as I told first, how is it brought about? How is it accomplished? It is accomplished by alteration in the activity and amount of proteins. The alteration in the activity and amount of proteins is brought about, like here we have increased transcription on the both sides, and it will lead to the changes in the amount and activity of proteins. Now going to group 2 hormones. Group 2 hormones. So group 2 hormones, they are water soluble, or we can tell it as hydrophilic. If you remember, group 1 hormones were lipophilic. Here they are hydrophilic. Hydrophilic in the sense, obviously they can't enter the cell, so they have to use receptors which are located on the membranes. So membranous receptor. Then here they use secondary messengers. Secondary messengers, so like what are secondary messengers? Secondary messengers primarily, like some examples are CAMP, CGMP, then calcium, phosphatidylinositol. So CAMP, how is it, how it comes? It comes from ATP. ATP on the action of adenyl cyclase. Adenyl cyclase will give you CAMP. Like similarly, like GTP on the action of guanyl cyclase will give you CGMP. Why are they called second messengers? Because they are triggered by our primary hormone. They are triggered by our primary hormone. So, in the group 2 hormones, the main thing which we should remember or which happens is the CAMP dependent protein kinase regulation. Here what happens is that protein kinase, which is in the inactive form, is activated by CAMP to its active form. This active protein kinase, it phosphorylates proteins. It phosphorylates proteins and the proteins gets activated. Here, this phosphorylation mainly occurs on serine and threonine residues of the proteins. This is important to remember. Then, how is it terminated then? there should be a method for termination. Termination is through two enzymes. One is phosphatases. It removes this phosphate, or it is through phosphodiesterases. It converts this CAM into 5' AMP. So it can't activate protein kinase, so it is terminated. Now this CAMP effect, that is the CAMP mediated protein kinase regulation, is the main form of regulation in eukaryotic cells. All processes, we have a lot of processes like steroid genesis, then carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism, synaptic transmission, cell growth, ion transport. So all these processes, they have their specific protein kinase. So everything will be specific. All these processes won't have the same protein kinase and phosphatase. So they have their unique protein kinase and phosphatases. So this is the signal generation by group 2 hormones. Now let's see some related images. This is our group 1 hormone. So group 1 hormones, they are of two types. One is glucocorticoid and the other one is thyroid hormone. So this glucocorticoid receptors, they are found in the cytoplasm associated with heat shock proteins. When this glucocorticoid binds with the glucocorticoid receptor, this HSP dissociates, then it traverses towards the nucleus, then it binds with the response element, then there will be enhanced transcription. Similarly, here thyroid and the retinoid hormones, they follow the same. Their receptors are located in the nucleus associated with the response element, but it is also bound to a co-repressor. So when this hormone binds, this co-repressor dissociates and the activator complex binds, and then there will be enhanced transcription. This is the mechanism of signal generation by group 2 hormones. Here it binds with the receptor on the membranous receptor. Then there will be the action of second messenger. Then we will have a response. Here we have hormonal regulation through CAM dependent protein kinase. So here this CAM brought by the action of adenyl cyclase activates the inactive protein kinase. This inactive protein kinase is a heterotetramer. That is, it has 2 regulatory units and 2 catalytic units. On activation, this regulatory units gets dissociated and we'll have our catalytic units. This active protein kinase now phosphorylates our protein. Now this protein will lead to our physiologic effects. Thank you.